Get your name for me.
Yes, my name's Michael Dowdell.
Okay. And what program were you in?
I'm in the Dharma Project program.
Okay. Were you at Metro Reentry Facility? Is that where you were
Yes,
at?
yes, I was at Metro Reentry for 2 years, the last 2 years of my sentence.
Okay. Okay. So tell me about the program. How long did you participate?
In the Dharma Project,
Yeah.
I participated from the moment I arrived at Metro Reentry. I heard that there was a yoga program, and I was like, whoa, I'm interested because I started off teaching myself yoga. So I was the moment I got there, I was a part of the program for 2 years. And when COVID hit, they wouldn't allow any volunteers into the institution, which was all right. We started doing yoga on our own.
What did you like about the program?
I like about the program one, I had someone who knows yoga and knows the proper way to do the positions and the proper breathing. And they were there to instruct us on how we were doing it and what we were doing. Because when I first started doing yoga, I started off reading books. And so I'm looking at the books, but it wasn't giving me the proper, what I call proper information, like completely. Because when I was doing the positions with Rutu, I'm thinking I'm doing them right because I'm going off what I remember doing in the book. And she was like, no, you got to correct this, or you need to correct that, or you need to breathe like this. And I was like, oh, okay, okay.
How did the program affect your experience while being incarcerated? Like what impact did it have on your physical and your mental health?
Well, starting with my mental health, I got into doing yoga because I was going through a lot of things at a particular time in my life while I was incarcerated. So doing yoga on my own, it started bringing me peace and mental clarity. And when I got to Metro, it increased that peace, and it brought a lot of relaxation. I was starting to become more relaxed in the environment I was in instead of being so uptight as if I'm constantly hunted by lions, tigers, and bears. So and then it brought more flexibility into my body. Like I was able to do more because I'm an exercise junkie. I love to exercise. Calisthenics, that's my thing. So while I was doing yoga, it improves my body to the point where I could do more cardio. I can do more calisthenics. I could do it better. I was more flexible. So things that I imagined or the things that I was seeing, I was able to do them without a problem because my body was limber enough where I could do these things and do it repetitiously, like continuously, up, down,
Yeah.
up, down. So, it helped me and it allowed me through the breathing techniques that you learn during yoga. I was able to breathe properly with the chest, which allowed me to go harder and longer.
And how do you say that the program affected just like your experience of being incarcerated in general?
It made me a more bearable person in that environment. I was more at peace. So I was able to interact, a lot better. I interacted well. I would say that people generally enjoy being around me in that environment because I like to bring peace to people's life, but in certain institutions, peace is not necessarily an object. It's an object, but it's not something that everybody wants. Everybody's uptight. The only way they can release their frustration and their aggravation or their stress is through violence. So it allowed me to deal with people on a level where once I learned the breathing techniques, I was less stressed because I was able to breathe that stress away. So it allowed me to interact with other people on a better level.
And how would you say that yoga has affected your relationship with yourself and like your level of self-awareness?
It multiplied. It multiplied my level of awareness to myself, how I stand, how I sit, how I talk to people, and like I said, my breathing, how I was able to breathe during stressful moments or even non-stressful moments. Now I'm more relaxed. And like I said, at first I was pretty tense because of the environments. And when you move from this environment or, this prison to the next prison, you be, you leave one environment where this prison may be extremely locked down, or it's a lot of violence going on, so you uptight. And when you leave that environment, you get transferred to another prison where the environment may not be as tense as the prison that you just left. You have to be able to transition. So, it helped me transition better.
What did you like about the program?
I like about the program, one, I had someone who knows yoga and knows the proper way to do the positions and the proper breathing. And they were there to instruct us on how we were doing it and what we were doing. Because when I first started doing yoga, I started off reading books. And so I'm looking at the books, but it wasn't giving me the proper, what I call proper information, like completely. Because when I was doing the positions with Rutu, I'm thinking I'm doing them right because I'm going off what I remember doing in the book. And she was like, no, you got to correct this, or you need to correct that, or you need to breathe like this. And I was like, oh, okay.
Do you feel like practicing yoga helped to develop like a better sense of community within the facility?
No.
No.
Unless it's guys who are like-minded and they do yoga as well, then yes, in that circle, what it allowed me to do was keep a more of a level head in all things when dealing with around and dealing with the officers, to the point where people begin to come to me for advice because they seen that I was more level-headed, than ones who they may have looked up to or who they have took orders from. They were like, let me go talk to Mike, because he'll probably give me another point of view that is more accurate than if I go holler at so-and-so.
How has yoga impacted your life and your experience while you readjust coming back to society and not being incarcerated?
It helped improve my life outside of incarceration, because now I'm less stressed. Stress is a big thing out here. And if you don't know how to deal with stress, it will break you down completely. Anxiety. I think anxiety is one of the biggest problems in our society.
Yeah.
People not learning how to deal with it, not knowing how to deal with it. So while doing yoga out here, I'm able to deal with the stress of being out here, of paying bills, of getting up early in the morning and being to work on time and in a positive frame of mind so I can complete my daily tasks, of dealing with family and friends who bear upon you for your time. Because no one told me this, but once you're released from prison, there are people who are reaching at you from all angles, vying for a piece of your time. They want to be a part of your life, especially if you did time and you made a positive change. They want to be a part of that change. They want that positive energy, because now, look at who you are now. You're someone I would love to be around. And so yoga has done that for me, just helped me deal with stress and maneuver through the obstacles of everyday life outside of incarceration.
So overall, I guess, do you think that, yoga programs are beneficial in the prison and the reentry realm in general?
It's most definitely beneficial. And I think it should be accepted and allowed in institutions across the country. Because if you have a problem in your institution with violence, through whatever means, if you implement a way where guys can relieve their stress and learn how to deal with these problems, I do believe that the stress levels will go down and the violence will go down. But it has to be brought to the general population as something that will be beneficial to them in the long run, because not everyone can see that, oh, this is going to help relieve my stress, because they don't even know they're going through stress. Because the prison population is getting so young that these guys don't understand the concept of stress. They don't know that they're under a lot of pressure because you're doing time, you're away from your family. They may have an idea, but they don't really know what they're going through. They just think what they're doing is cool and acceptable, when it's really not. It's just going to keep you incarcerated longer. So if you bring these programs in the prisons and you, be honest with you, if you make the guys do it, they will fall in line because they will see the benefits.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. I feel like in a lot of our programs and facilities like that, it's like once they get into it, they love it, and it's like, but you just got to make them do it.
Gotta make them do
Be
it.
like, look, you're coming to yoga today. Yeah, okay.
No, no questions asked. You're going to yoga, and we don't care what you say. We don't care what your friends say. You know why? Because they're going to be right there next to you doing yoga.
So how are your experiences with the instructors throughout the program?
They were great, beautiful even. I even got out of prison in contact. I went to Rutu's yoga studio. She wasn't there at the time because I wanted to continue doing yoga while out here. And why I have to look for a studio when I was introduced and I was under the teachings of a master yoga instructor in Rutu. So
Yeah.
the experiences was great. It led me to, like I said, look for them once I was released.
Yeah. And so are you still doing yoga at All Life is Yoga?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love that. Um, Now, since you've returned, do you think that you'll pursue a teaching certification?
I would like to. I have to. I've only been out 7 months, and my time is being divided. I have a lot of things going on with my job, and then wanting to school me. So, if I have the opportunity, if I can find the time, I would love to take up the class to become a yoga instructor, to be
Yeah.
more knowledgeable in the art. So right now, I'm not going to make any commitments to that because my commitment first is to get my career off the ground.
Yeah.
Take a lot of my time, but it's there. It's not on the back of my mind. It's actually off to the side where I can see it when I turn my head. Okay, there's another option right there, and that's to be a yoga instructor.
So is there anything else you want to share with us about your experience being engaged with Dharma Project and the yoga program at Metro?
I would just like to say that it was one of the best experiences of my life while incarcerated. And it's been a great experience once I was released. It's a major influence in my life. I even have friends around me who are like, I want to try yoga. Just wanted to, and now you're doing it, and I see how well you're doing it, and your whole personality is just so bright. Your energy is lovely. Can I try yoga too? In fact, I was at engagement last night where they was doing a play with Out of Hand Theaters, and I was talking to one of the professors from Kennesaw State about the Dharma Project and my practice with the yoga, and they was like, "Hey, can I have that instructor's information so I could call and set up a day for myself?" I was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
I
Oh, that's awesome.
talk about it often, and I try to enlighten people to it and introduce them to more.